What is going on, everybody? Thanks for being here today. First things first, I got to get this out of the way. I am neither for or against Dynex. All right. This is just for educational purposes only. This is not to bash Dynex in any way, shape, or form. This is just to cover our asses as miners, make sure everybody's safe, right? I don't want anybody to download a virus by downloading this wallet. I don't want anybody to, be maliciously attacked, more or less, just in general. So, had to get that out of the way right now. Now, what we're going to do is more or less dive through the wallet, scan it for viruses, make sure it's safe, like the desktop stuff, right? With my man Yeti. I'm going to bring him in just a second. He's in the back waiting. And then we're going to more or less just go over some stuff that he kind of searched up and looked through. So I'm going to let him explain a lot of it. And then we're going to go from there. Joker Miner says, I hate Dynex, and that's not true. That's not true at all. I'm just trying to clear up things because I know that there's been a lot of concern in the space. There really has. A lot of people have been saying a lot of things about it. And it's like, is it true? Is it not true? Is it a scam? Is it not a scam? I mean, overall, the Dynex project, looking at the website in general, it looks awesome or sounds amazing, right? Just looking at their website alone. So anyways, no further ado, I'm going to bring in my man Yeti, and we're going to see what he has to say. Mr. Yeti, what is up, my man? How you doing, buddy?
Yeah, good. Thank you. Yourself?
Good, man. Good. Just, hanging in there. I'm excited for this. I want to know if I should get on the bandwagon of Dynex. So obviously you're the man I come to when we need to look into a core wallet or any type of wallet that's just downloaded directly onto your computer. And yeah, so why don't you give me the deets? What did you find while digging into this?
Quite a bit, actually. I was pleasantly surprised at how much I was actually able to dig around and have a look and check out everything and so forth. So, I mean, from a sense of is Dynex from a mining perspective legit? I would guess that's already been answered, right? People are already mining it.
Yep.
It's listed on exchanges. It's listed with most mining software now. So that side's pretty much fine. But as we've found out in the past, it's very easy to slip something into a core wallet or even miss something like an old build that you might have downloaded to fork off of, and they've left something in there that potentially could leave a hole in the system. So, the main thing about this is not to bash anyone, is just purely about security.
Right. Making sure that we're all safe, you guys and myself, obviously, because I've never mined it and I want to mine it. I know you've never mined it, Yeti. We're both just kind of biased on the situation. We don't know if it's good or bad. But I mean, I want to get to the bottom of it. I want to know if I should mine it because, again, like I said, on paper, the website looks fantastic. I'm sure a lot of you guys know about it. I mean, there's been, again, mixed reviews with people in the space making videos saying, so-and-so owns Dynex, or, it's a scam or it's not a scam or whatever. You know what I mean? There's always two sides to a coin or a story, right? So yeah, let's I guess let's dive into sharing your screen. Do you want to are you ready to bring up whatever it is so I can add it to here?
Absolutely.
All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to swap it over now. All right. So this, I guess just I'll let you tell us what we're looking at. It's probably the best way to do it.
Before anyone freaks out that that there's 41 red notifications on this screen, a lot of this is effectively false positives, right? So this is antivirus programs saying this is crypto related, and it gets pulled up as that. So most of these, as you can see here, look, crypto, most of it is related as a false positive. I mean, look, it even
can you
says
zoom in a little bit, Yeti?
Yep.
Is that possible? And then I guess so this is the actual wallet, right? The whole scanning of the wallet.
Yeah, so I took the Dynex wallet and also the DLL files that are associated with all of the program itself, right? So if you look at the Dynex wallet that I downloaded, all these DLLs are all clean. They're all pretty much so libpng is a legitimate product.
Okay.
libco is as well. So these are all proper packed binaries by their associated companies that run them. So these aren't what I would worry about at all. You can even see that there's some basic configuration paths that you can include if you want, but I don't think they're actually used. because otherwise this would include some sort of variable. So that's probably either from old version or a new version that they're planning on bringing out. So,
Okay.
but you can see here, like this is the one that made me laugh. So look, so this is telling you that it's a mining piece of software, but it clearly says not a virus. So
It does. That's right. That's great.
yeah. So a lot of these are what
See if
you
I
would
can make this a
expect
little bigger. There
from
we go.
getting, whenever you download a mining piece of software like T-Rex or LOL, you always get the antiviruses throw up a hissy fit saying that, it's a virus and not to use it. And normally we all just ignore it, click run anyway, and off it goes. But
Right.
yeah, it's a similar principle. This is all just stuff that I would expect to see, given that it's a crypto wallet.
Okay.
And
So overall clean, you don't have to worry about any type of malicious malware inside
no,
this wallet.
I've been running the wallet now since I started up this afternoon. Mad Electron was nice enough to go through, just making sure that we got this set up correctly, linking in and making sure that everything's working as it should be. You can see, look, I actually hold no Dynex. This is the first time I've even opened their wallet. But there was a few things that caught my eye. I've actually wrote a massive list of things here, and I'll go through all of these shortly. Yeah. But one of the biggest things that I was a bit weirded out by is there's nowhere to create a recovery process. So you can back up the wallet, but you can't effectively recover the wallet. You can only therefore open the wallet. So it acts like another wallet in that respect. So that's one thing I would like to see, or a seed phrase or something along that line, right?
Right. So there's no passcode or seed phrase to open it back up.
There's a way to obviously encrypt the wallet and put a password against it, but that's only an encryption of the wallet. You still have to back it up.
Right. So it's totally separate. It's not like the Neoxa wallet where you go and back it up and it will, when you go to download the DAT file, it'll just ask the password and recover everything, right? So it's not like that.
Well, it might very well be, but you'd expect to maybe see some sort of recover wallet option here, which would make it a bit more intuitive for new people, right? Because open wallet to me says, oh, well, it's just opening a wallet. You might have 3 or 4 Dynex wallets running, and therefore you're switching between the different wallets, right? But when it comes to backing up and restoring, you'd usually have, if you have a backup, you'd also have a restore option. Or at least from my perspective.
Okay. I don't know how to say this name. Clompy. I'm just going to call you that. It says, look in the app data Yeti. There you find your wallet dat. Yeah. So I think you found that, right? Yeah.
Yeah. That's the only way that you can do it at the moment. Whereas, we're looking at this from a perspective of somebody who's not technically minded, trying to get them to go into the local app directory of Windows and explaining that you got to, put in % local app data % in a run command doesn't always equate for very easy use for people. For me personally, I'd love to see them add an extra option here that just says recover wallet. You point it at your DAT file, it then goes, boom, please enter your password and recovers it straight to whether that, do a cross-chain swap from your old wallet to your current wallet and moves all your currency over or something, or whether it just fully unlocks and adds that to the wallet you can access. I don't know, but it could make it a little easier for somebody who's not technically minded.
Well, real quick, just being like devil's advocate right here. Sure. So these guys obviously, or from what it seems anyways, they're obviously coding is very advanced, right? When it comes to this whole website and Dynex in general, there's the amount of large words that are used on this website alone kind of signifies how educated these guys are in this space, right? So they're probably not used to making things super simple, or what's super simple to them is actually really still hard or extremely hard for the average user. So that's kind of,
Sure.
Again, just being devil's advocate. So hopefully, that was just a overlook, I guess, on their part.
From
right?
From a usability perspective, that's the only gripe I've got in relation to, the backup process. If you have a backup option, you would normally have a restore option to go with. But other than that, it's just a core wallet with a few things took out of it. It's basic. It it seems to be fine. When I went through the source code, and I extensively went through the source code.
So real quick, Fully Electric said the backup and restore is just like Pulsar. Does that make sense to you?
I've never done Pulsar.
Okay. All right. So yeah, he said our company network / system scans uses tags from the scanner to tell when the user have mining software on company workstation / servers. We get alerts if it's not a virus.
So using the metadata effectively.
Right. And then he just said, yeah, the backup and restore is just like Pulsar. So okay. All right. So what else do you I guess have on your sheet there?
That sort of showed up when I was deep diving into the source code, right? So now I'm not sure whether this is just left over from where they were building it or whether they're calling some functions that are part of this. But I mean, last time I checked, they don't use Grostal.
So now
they
what
certainly
is that?
don't use Skeen. Grostal is one that I know that Mad Electron has been doing, as well as I believe Mike Retrotech has also got. I think he actually bought Mad Electron's Grostal miner. Funnily enough, I think that's Grin.
Oh, okay. Grostal. All right. Gotcha. I've never mined Grin either. It's another one of those things I've never done.
But you know, like this could just be that they're using this as so I think Random C is something to do with Monero, I believe. But yeah, it could just be that they're using these as certain call functions, because I remember that originally, if I'm remembering rightly, Dynex was all Kryptonite when it first launched before they released their Dynex solve. So
gotcha.
You know, it might be left over from when they were running their old algorithms effectively.
Gotcha. All right, but, so I guess overall,
honestly, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad at all. I went through a few things, right? So
real quick before you jump onto that, so the wallet, when he's saying like everything's all good for the most part, right? This is just the Windows part of the wallet. We don't know anything that has to do with the Android or iPhone wallets. I mean, there's other wallets, right? Or what do they have?
There's so on their website they list a Android or a phone wallet effectively.
Okay. All right, so that doesn't cover that, so we don't know anything about that for the most part.
The chances of something slipping into there is a little bit less than the Windows one, because whereas a Windows can be distributed by them and therefore they could hide something in it, iOS and Android, and I know this for a fact, I've just released some apps on there myself, they go through a very stringent checksum, especially for new groups that have never released on their networks before. So it took me 8 weeks to get our Android one on, and we're just coming up for 12 weeks for the iOS one. And that's still not listed yet. And all that does is for a Bluetooth module to a little mechanism. And that takes like 12 weeks to get processed. So, I mean, that says to me that if anything, if there was something, it would be hidden in the Windows or Linux version.
That makes sense, right? Steven Cicero in the chat said Max Voltage said Dynex said not to use the web wallet.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, they aren't even listing the web wallet anymore on their website. They used to, but I believe that they've discontinued their web wallet altogether apparently now, given that I believe that was to do with something to do with that somebody found an exploit or something, and they privately went to Dynex probably and said, look, this is what you can do. And basically they just pulled it, which is actually a sensible bet. Like that's what you should do at that point.
100%.
You either tweak it and fix it, or if it's something that can't be tweaked and fixed, you have to pull it.
Absolutely. Totally agree. All right. I guess let's move on to the next, what else you got?
So myself and Mad Electron have both experienced this. It may not be across the board. It might be the specific chip that we're using or the software we use for virtualization. But the Dynex wallet does take a moment to load on VMs completely. That could just be optimization further down the road. They get some more optimization in it, and suddenly it unlocks some more performance in how fast it can open up the blockchain.
Okay.
Other than that, I mean, like I say, it works. And this is a few bits that obviously is good for them, right? First off, that they publicly post their source code to their wallet, for one.
That's good.
You know, that's good. They post up all of their updates and, you know, explanations. So that's great to see that they're keeping up with that and making sure that, you know, updates are rolled out periodically. So that's good. And obviously there's two other things that I picked up that maybe not so much the web wallet, but they are pure Dynex related.
Yeah,
And
let's
that's
get into it.
more the Dynex chip stuff. Now,
Okay.
in their wallet, they actually have some code in there for their Dynex chip.
Okay.
Right now, if you just looked at it from the very, you know, right on the outskirts, you'd probably think that chip was physical. Right, the way that they talk about it on their website, you would think that it was physical. Obviously, for anyone who doesn't already know, it's not a physical chip. They do state it on their website. It just takes a bit of digging to find exactly the line. But it basically states that there isn't the technology currently available to bring their chip from design to reality. So they found a way to emulate what that chip does on a GPU. And at that point, what I thought was, well, is there any actual need to build this chip then? If GPUs can do it, and even older GPUs can do it, then wouldn't it make sense to repurpose already existing hardware and not make more e-waste?
Yeah.
You
That
know,
sounds
look at Intel. They've just scrapped their whole ASIC division. Why? Because it wasn't cost effective for them.
right. Yeah, that's
And
true.
if Intel can scrap a chip, then I mean, what's it gonna be for them to bring a chip to light? Like, it's gonna be expensive. Intel have got how many capable facilities that they've got that can manufacture chips for them?
Right.
Dynex doesn't even have a fab
Yeah, right.
to be able to fabricate. So
Right.
again, you know, fabricating your own chip that'd be tens of millions of dollars, literally tens of millions of dollars. And you'd have to
That's
run off
insane.
something like, I don't know, 10,000 chips on your first run to even make it a fabrication company even look at it. So
Gotcha.
it's a lot of
Interesting.
work. It's a
Fully
lot of
Electric,
work.
real quick, had a question for you about that wallet. He said, question, the slow opening, can that be linked to DNS?
It could be. It could very well be. From everything that I was looking at, though, they pull the list of IPs and everything like that from a central repository periodically. So it could be. You're right. It could be a DNS lookup. Although I've got 3 different DNS servers assigned to this VM, so I'd assume that I would get the DNS records that it needs, unless it's actually going out to Dynex to get the DNS and then come back, and that could be a latency thing. So yeah,
Gotcha.
absolutely.
All right. Nice. What all right, so what else is on your list here? It's hard for me to read, so I'll let
we've
you do it.
basically we've covered the Dynex chip part and the fact that it's not an actual physical chip at the moment. It's more just emulating what their chip does.
Yep.
Hang on a second. Let me just increase this.
Oh, you're good, man. No
It's a
worries.
little bit easier for you. There you
Oh,
go.
nice. Perfect. Thank you.
There we go.
Hell yeah.
So, and I do apologize for the pure white background. I'm on a
It's all
VM,
good.
so yeah. So I mean, we've pretty much covered this part at the moment, right? So
Yep.
this was just the wallet checks itself, and there's a couple more things I did. So, like while the wallet's open, as you can see, it's here. It's open. So 1733 is their RPC port by the looks of it, because there's a whole bunch of them all on here. So this is their RPC probably to their master nodes, or what would be considered a master node.
Okay.
And then 443 is actually a piggyback out for blockchain transaction verification. So when you get a payment in, you can double click it and see it on the blockchain. That's what that API call's there to do. So like I say, the only other bit that bothered me is that they could have been a little bit less lazy with how they bind to network adapters. So right now, they basically do what most companies do, which is the lazy way, and just bind to every network address on the card, on any card, that is. So if you've got a wireless adapter, a LAN adapter, they bind to every connection that's available, right?
Huh.
Whereas me personally, when I code software, I look at what your active network connection is. So whether that be your Wi-Fi or your LAN, right? Because only one is ever active when you're connected, because you should never be on LAN and Wi-Fi at the same time anyway, unless you're doing some weird dual networking. In which case you'd probably understand this, but realistically, you should never be connected on Wi-Fi and LAN at the same time because you get weird things happen, right?
Right.
So for me personally, and this is just a more me as a coder perspective, I would actually look up which is your active connection out to the internet and use that and bind to that, so that you're not hammering every network card that you've got on your machine, because you might want it only piping out down one path.
Interesting.
So,
Okay.
but other than that, I mean, so that covers off, I mean, like this. And I noticed that the 1733 port
Yep.
was limited to 10 connections to 10 different IPs. So that to me probably says that it's to do with their nodes or their master nodes, what holds their main blockchain.
Okay. We had a question in the chat. Fully Electric said it could just be efficiency with a question mark. He said when you emulate a process, there is a performance hit versus running
Yes.
native. So I
Correct.
think they should still make the chip. No, with a question mark.
Quite possibly, although given how fast GPU chips are now getting, are they going to actually get much performance more out of a chip than using a GPU die?
That's a good point too. But I mean, I guess if they do have some sort of newfound I don't know, secret, right? Kind of like the whole
Sure.
Loco Tech thing that's coming out, and the Jazz miners, when those first came out, it was like, how the hell are these things so efficient? How are they so good at what they do? Higher hash rates and just low
Patrick
watts.
Murphy actually came up with a good
Yeah.
comment there. It says that it could be a potential that they're using the GPU side right now as a proof of concept to build out and flesh out how that chip will work. And that's true to a certain degree. But when you're starting to get down to, the scale size that we're talking about, like nanomillimeters and micro,
Yep.
and so small that you can't even see it without a microscope, trying to emulate what that does in the real world with actual physical capabilities, that would be very difficult. I could see them finding a way to build on top of the GPUs to build what would be an artificial chip, effectively, that sits on top of the GPU.
Oh, okay.
In essence, and that would work. That would work.
That'd be interesting.
And that could all be achieved within software. And if they get NVIDIA's or AMD's blessing and get some driver integration as well, so they can manipulate drivers on the fly, like some software can do, you could potentially get even more out of that chip than what the vendors get, because it would be wholly for Dynex. Could even do it so that they get custom VBIOSes for their cards.
I'm getting flashbacks to LHR unlock stuff.
Oh yeah.
I'm getting flashbacks. Yeah. Oh, crazy. All right. Now, if you guys have any questions in the chat, please feel free to just ask away and I'll try to read them out as soon as I can. My wife, actually, Miss Pocket Change, had a question. She said, Yeti, do you personally rip apart every wallet / project you get into before you dive into mining or using it? And then she said, to me, for us normal people, what would you recommend we do before getting into it? So I guess we'll start with you. Do you dive into everything?
You probably already know this answer, right?
Yes.
You know exactly. Yes, I do.
He does, for sure.
Yes, I do.
He has VMs all set up more or less, right? Where do you keep the VMs up actually with these wallets in them? Like, how does that work?
So most of them, yes. So I've got one that runs my Casper node wallet although it's not running as a node fully because obviously I've got no miners here running. But yeah, I mean, each of my wallets have their own little micro VM. I actually use a version of Windows 10 that's been like fully stripped down. It takes less than 5 minutes to install, and it runs so small that I can just deploy them really fast.
Oh,
So
that's neat. Okay.
I've got an ESXi cluster under the stairs that I can just take a template of Windows 10, flick it over to a new VM, fire it up, put the new wallet on, and start digging.
Interesting. Maybe we'll have to do a video where we can set up VMs and show people how to do that, because that would be kind of neat. You know what I mean? It'd be very useful to some people. I mean, people like me, right? That's not. I mean, I know a little bit about computers, but compared to Yeti, I'm like a caveman with a rock. You know what I mean? He's like, the scientist. So it's yeah. It just VMs are not. I don't know enough about them. I need to learn about them. So I think it would be cool if we could teach everybody to learn about them. And
The worst
just be
bit is
safe.
that when you start going down the VM rabbit hole, it'll be a case of, okay, now which VM software are you running then?
Right.
Proxmox, ESXi, Unraid,
Right.
Hyper-V. There's about 20 of them that you could use, and each one has its own, unique way of doing things.
Right. No, that's awesome. All right, let me see. So my wife actually, what did she say? Sorry, what was the second part of that question? I totally forgot. For us normal people, what would you recommend before we get into it? Just call Yeti. Just reach out, Mr.
A lot
Mining
of people
Discord.
do tend to just drop me a message on Discord. They're like, "Have you looked at this one yet?" And I'm like,
Yep.
Yeah, I've already looked at it.
Yep.
It's good." Or "I've already looked at it. It's really bad. Don't touch it."
Right.
Or "It needs a bit more refinement before I touch it," and stuff like that. So, oh look, Panda's going on. Look,
Yep,
I heard
Panda's
cluster
there.
and ESXi in the same sentence.
All right, so just for anybody that might just be joining, first, hit that like button if you would. That'd be awesome. Second, the wallet, the Windows wallet seems to be okay. Doesn't seem like there's any viruses, anything malicious inside of it, as far as we know anyways, from what Yeti scanned and went over. If you haven't seen it, just scroll back. You guys can rewatch it. He does have some other pointers that he wants to get to on this paper. So let's, I guess let's read those, whatever your next thing is. And
I mean, so I actually went and spent a bit of time and reread again the, nearly 30-page white paper. And a lot of it is, even to a certain degree, over my head, right? It's high-end scientific calculations and so forth. But a lot of it is to do with stuff that isn't technically even available yet. So, like imagining what the next form of AI would be. That's there's a long way before what I would consider AI to be available. AI is not even around yet, not even close. Although like things like ChatGPT, Dynex, Flux using a certain proportion of AI and stuff like that for their network. And I mean, it's just another step towards that path, right? It's just another small step though in what is the full AI package.
Right. Oh, that's cool. Real quick, my wife actually said maybe you guys could make a list of coin/projects that have been reviewed for us normal people. And that's actually not a bad idea. Actually, make like a spreadsheet to coins that you've already looked into.
Not a bad idea at all, to be fair.
Yeah, to make sure that like people are safe. Yeah, it's a good idea. That's a really good idea. Thank you.
Yeah.
Miss Pocket Change. And I just realized you changed your name. You got rid of the wife of a miner at the end of it. It's probably way easier for people to tag you. Perfect. All right. So I guess what is the next thing on your list here with the white paper?
So a few things that people seem to get a bit weirded out by, right? So you take a look at how many of their tokens are already in circulation compared to what are going to be the overall total circulation, right? They're about nearly 50% already.
Oh, wow.
And they only effectively launched the blockchain, what, September was it? 2022?
Yeah, it was recent, yeah.
So if they're already halfway through that, now that could be that they pre-mined a whole load of stuff, and I won't even get into my views on pre-mining. But
we all have the same views.
Yeah, we'll be here for a good couple of hours. But basically, the way that their white paper explains it is that after the block rewards are all done with, effectively it will flip to a solution reward, right? So when they get work to do with their AI proof of use will work stuff, right? Whoever purchases the job, they will get a payment in from that company to process that job in Dynex, and then that is shared across the miners that are running proof of use will work. Now, something actually me and you were talking about just off camera before we came on was, now if the block rewards stop and the solution rewards take over, what happens if, for example, they have no work, right?
Right.
Do people just sit there covering the blockchain while they're not getting paid? Because I mean, that could end up with their network stalling out, or they're going to have to run their own equipment to keep the blockchain running, in which case then the company's starting to burn and hemorrhage money, and that doesn't go well for many companies when they start hemorrhaging money like that. So that's something else that, as I pointed out here, after all mined coins are done with, the solution reward would take this place. And this could cause a bit of an issue with block. If all the block rewards are mined and no solution-based work is available, how do people get paid? Because nobody's going to leave their equipment on permanently 24/7 if they're not going to get paid.
Right. I mean,
because they'll just turn it off to something else and off they go. People have obviously said about FPGAs and ASICs and all of that on Dynex. Yep. If you read their white paper, they make no secret of the fact that 1,500 FPGAs were on their network.
This is what does this have something to do with that, you think? This was posted in my VIP chat.
Yes.
Look at that.
So that was them doing testing and,
you know, look at the hash rate, bro. Look how high it was.
They had a lot on there.
I mean, clearly they still have this, like they must have these just in the back room chilling.
Whether or not they're on is anyone's guess, but yeah, they've got whoever was running it for them has access to a very large FPGA farm.
I mean, we're not even halfway, actually. So we're a little more than halfway, I guess, from where it was. It was at over 500 and something. Like it was
big.
That's pretty drastic.
Yeah.
Dump, and then that, I guess this is kind of where a lot of the red flags come from.
When they swapped over from Kryptonite to Dynex Solve, would have been where the hash rate drop was. I believe.
Maybe.
If Mad Electron's in the chat, I'm pretty sure he'll confirm or tell me if I'm wrong on that one. But I think that is when they switched over from Kryptonite, which is what they were running originally, to Dynex Solve, which was their own algo, effectively.
Interesting. Fully Electric said, what year will it be fully mined out?
That's a good question. Obviously, I guess that can change depending on hash rate on the network. But my best estimate is probably the rate they're burning through their...
Is there a way to find out on this?
Market cap, like how many tokens they've actually got. I wouldn't say very long. I would say probably maybe another 12 months at most. And you'd probably be looking at about that being done.
Holy shit. Wait, hold on.
If they're already 50% the way through.
Was this only from mining? 50%?
I believe so.
Because of the mining?
Yeah.
From December
if you look at what the total circulating supply is, I mean, it's not a lot.
No, max supply 110 million.
They certainly don't have a huge, amount of volume of what they're going to mine.
Hold on. So Panda in the chat said that is the pre-mine plus the Dynex mines during the time apparently was used to pay for exchange listing and propping up the volume and liquidity. Fake.
Right.
I like how you just put fake at the end. All right. So I mean, I guess if they haven't all been mined within that, from September to now, then I guess, it probably lasts a little bit. Hopefully they cut, well, not hopefully, but hopefully, for sake of the network or the coin rather, that they adjust the mining rewards somehow. I don't know. I mean,
the thing is, right, the amount of crypto companies that actually use like market movers, as they call them in the industry, I think that is the right term, where their only job is to buy and sell the same currency over and over and over again, just to keep the liquidity moving and the buy and sell rates as even as possible. The problem is that, too many of them use it to push the boundaries of where the coin is actually truly valued at.
So yeah, that's damn. So I guess I have a question for the chat. Like, how do you guys feel about that hash rate or the FPGAs, right? That must have been on during that time of the testing and stuff. Like, how do you guys feel about that, or just in general? Like, how do you feel about it, Yeti? Is there a bad thing for FPGAs to be on a network, or is it only a good thing? Like, I know for miners it sucks, right? GPUs, yeah, whatever.
So, I
But
mean,
it's just
from a
in general.
GPU miner perspective, it sucks, right?
Right, right.
Because obviously
Yeah,
they're going to be super more efficient. They're going to give more hash rate per watt. It's that middle ground between a GPU and an ASIC
exactly.
at that
Right,
point.
right.
But
From like a network perspective, right? Being like, if you were part of this project, or say like you owned Dynex, right? Just
yeah,
theoretically, if you did, would you want FPGAs on your network for any specific reason? Is there like anything they
yes, to
can
a
do
certain degree.
better?
So, for example, right, we've seen it with Solana, for example, right? Solana's network has stalled out a number of times over the
Yes.
years, quite badly. And you would think that if they had something there sitting in the background that could be on 24/7, that they could guarantee would always keep their blockchain running and not stall it out, that makes a lot of sense in my view, especially if, you know, but 1500, I mean, that's what you call a fair test. I
Oh yeah,
mean,
for sure.
they certainly threw a lot at it. And, if it held up, then great. That means that their network's resilient enough to be able to take that load. But also, it also shows that they're willing to back up their project with actual hardware to keep it running. So I see 50/50, right? I'm a miner deep down at the end of the day, other than just a software developer. So
Right,
I'm stuck between a rock and a hard place, because I see it from a software development side of things, and like,
right.
securing the software to continue to run. But I also see it from a miner's perspective as,
Yeah, getting
we
rewards is
did get
nice, right?
shafted.
Right.
Yeah.
Um, I just want to just address a fangirl in the chat. Driving Dave said, do some actual research before you guys make a video like this. I mean, I'm pretty sure we did some research just before this. I'm pretty sure we just scanned the wallet to make sure there's no viruses. If I was shitting on Dynex, I'd understand your comment. But if you want to be a fangirl, go
We're
fangirl
certainly not
somewhere else,
doing
because I
that.
don't give a shit. I am not for or against Dynex. This is legit educational purposes only, stated at the beginning and the right now. It's in the
Yep.
description as well. I don't care either way how Dynex does. It's just, I want to make sure everybody's safe. We're not getting hacked or anything malicious inside the wallets that we're downloading. So it's just, you know what I mean? We're doing this for you guys, right? So yeah, go fangirl
Yeah, I
somewhere else.
mean,
I really don't care.
we're not trying to knock it
No,
or anything.
yeah,
I've tried to be fair with saying, there are good things about Dynex. The way that they're considering how to produce an actual, working AI model, emulating what a human brain does to give that true AI
right,
feel. And that's not a wrong
right.
approach.
No,
If I was looking at it personally myself, that's how I'd be approaching it too. Look at a human brain. It's the most advanced computer we've ever experienced and been around and used.
yeah,
You know,
100%.
some
I
are
totally
more,
agree.
better than others, but that's the way a computer is, right? It's the same thing. So, I mean,
Sorry,
there's
I
a
was
couple
laughing
of
at the
things
chat.
that obviously, I even said to you, right, that would be a little bit of a red flag for me. And that's
Right,
because I'm a businessman first and foremost. Like, the fact that their company address and details are not at the bottom of the website, or any way to contact them directly other than social media or Discord, is a little bit worrying, because any normal company would have a headquarters, would have, customer service representatives, and they'd be
right.
answering phone calls or emails.
Yeah, I get
Um,
that. And I'm sure they're busy too, you know. I mean,
sure.
again, it's probably not easy for one to run
No,
any type of cryptocurrency, regardless of
hey,
the
I
scale that they're on. Like, this is obviously,
I could only imagine the amount of hours
oh,
that their development team must put in to
crazy.
to even keep on top of everything, right?
Yep.
First and foremost, I'm a developer by trade, and
Hmm.
the hours I put in, chump, like, how many hours I do every week. Like, it's
Right,
crazy.
right.
I sleep 4 hours a day if I'm lucky. You know,
DJ said he tried emailing Bitcoin and he got no answer.
well,
Such a troll.
Bitcoin's obviously not technically owned, is it?
Right.
It never
So
has been.
that's actually a good point, though, right? So DJ brings it up again. Like I said, we're not for Dynex. I'm not against Dynex. It's just it's a simple discussion just to find out if it is legit or not. But that's a good point that DJ brings up, right? Everybody is real skeptical on the fact that Satoshi is a real person or he isn't a real person. Like no one knows who he is. It's just it's weird, right? So, I understand the how do you say that word? Anonymous, like whatever.
Anonymous, yeah.
I can't even pronounce the word.
I mean, the
Anyways,
thing is, we've
you know
got
what I'm
anonymous
saying.
crypto in the industry already. Look at Monero.
Right. So it's weird to not see a face or not know who this person is. But like, I guess you can't judge a book by its cover. That's kind of what I'm getting at, right?
No,
It's
not at all. But if a
so
crypto is owned by a business, which Dynex apparently is, because they're going to be producing a Dynex chip, then they are a business first and foremost.
Right. Yeah, that's true too. Yep.
And that's a very different set of credentials around that.
Yeah, no, I agree. For sure.
Fully Electric asks, is there a way to confirm the percentage of proof of useful work data being returned to Dynex versus the hash to the pool? No, because all data between client and server or servers is completely encrypted.
Interesting.
So
do you now is there anything else in that paper that you wanted to cover before we just talk to the crowd fully?
I mean, other than obviously like we always say, I would always advise for people do their own research.
For sure.
You can see here that I have, I've got a NetStat tool open. I've got Wireshark running to be able to check what this data was doing, and I'm looking for patterns and so forth, as you can see here. So I mean,
is Dingle Dave here? Oh no, sorry, Driving Dave. You looking at this, Dave? Is that your name, Dave?
So I mean, when I say that I do my research, I do actually technically check. I made sure that the port was correct. I made sure that the ports that were showing up are the correct ports for what should be or shouldn't be working. I even checked with Mad Electron.
And he's a smart
to make
mofo.
Sure that,
just saying.
Oh yeah, like if there isn't something that I'm up on, the first person I'll go and check with is Mad Electron, or I'll pick Rondi's brain, another person that I trust very highly,
Oh, absolutely.
with his experience.
Absolutely.
But I did just see another question.
Yeah.
Where is it?
Obviously.
No, it was 3 Fox Co saying you need a bigger mug that holds more coffee. Unfortunately, it's tea. It's tea, not coffee.
Tea. He drinks tea. He's one of them. All right. So
British.
I guess just to elaborate a little bit on this entire thing, like, is it a scam or malicious or whatever? We obviously whatever happens outside of scanning for wallets or whatever, like if this is a rug pull and they sell all their coins and it drops to zero, none of us can control that. As long as we're safe at the end of the day, like in your computer or your other wallets aren't affected, that's pretty much the goal here, to make sure that we're not affected in that sense. Losing money, obviously you never want to invest more than you can afford to lose. Never mind something just continuously without a clear path of exiting properly, or just like understanding the fundamentals of what you're doing. Don't just FOMO into something and hope it goes to the moon, because 90% of the time it's not going to happen. You might get lucky once in a while, but it's just
absolutely,
you know what I mean. You know what I'm saying. Just be smart.
Yeah, sure.
It's not. I don't know. That's pretty much it. I just wanted to make sure people know that it's. I mean, I probably will mine this to get a small bag, because now that the wallet's not malicious, so I'm happy about that, to be honest. As far as like who owns it, and I guess him being anonymous, right? It's a concern to a point, but it depends who the person is. Like if until it's a problem, it's not a problem, I guess. That's what I'm kind of saying, right? Let's see. Please make up with Dave. Let's see. Dave, it's okay, buddy. It's okay. Listen, again, I understand if people are fully invested into this. I get it.
Dave was just mentioning about how the schedule and emissions and all of that was already listed in their white paper. You'd be surprised how many people don't actually read white papers. People don't want to go spend a lot of reading.
Also,
2 or 3 hours reading through a 30-page document that they
it's
have no
yeah,
understanding of.
exactly. Like it's
So
yeah, it to know if you want to mine something. I mean, there's no chance in hell everybody here reads every white paper to every coin they mine. I mean, unless you're like somebody like Yeti that does coding stuff or just, you know, you do this type of crap for a living. You're sitting at the computer, you like to read. Like some people like to read. It's some people don't. It's just how it
sure.
is, you know? Yeah, I don't know. So I mean, Yeti overall, right? Like I guess let's ask this to you and to everybody here. Like knowing that there is nothing malicious going on with the wallet so far, knowing that like everything that you found isn't really any red flags per se, would this make you
No.
more interested in mining it? Or
It certainly makes me want to have a little bit more of a look at it.
okay,
I actually, funnily enough, asked Mad Electron exactly the same questions. Like, should I be looking at this? Should I maybe, grab a little bag of it just as something that I can sit on and see if it all come out of it? It's fairly efficient on GPUs, which is always nice to see. I've
right.
recently
Oh,
I've been doing Casper, which again is excellent efficiency on my 30 series cards and AMD cards. So I
right.
mean,
Let's look at
I'm all for more efficient algorithms. I'm all for more efficient algorithms.
oh, 100%. I mean, looking at let's see. Let's go to GPUs quick. Like
And
Dynex
pretty
still
much
top
it's
of the
Dynex
charts,
across the
man.
board, isn't it?
Like it's Dynex, Nexa, Ironfish is still up there, but Ironfish, I mean,
Just
I,
too much hash rate on Ironfish's network.
I don't know what the hell's happening with that, man. That came out of freaking nowhere and took us like a storm, man.
Do
Like
you know
straight
what,
up.
right? Me and Mad Electron sat in Misfit Mining waiting for the actual block switchover. We were on block 1 when we switched,
Oh,
right?
really?
We're actually on block 1, right?
Yeah.
And we saw how much hash rate was on there, and we were like, I don't think we've ever, in all the time we've ever been doing this, neither of us had
Seen that
seen
much
that
hash
much
rate.
hash rate on a network at block 1.
Oh my gosh, that's insane.
Yeah.
That's cool though. I mean, it's a milestone for sure. Something to brag about, I guess. But like looking at so like I have my A2000s, right? So I actually Mr. Hawk Crypto Mining is actually sending these back to me so I can set up some stuff for whatever the hell Flux has cooking up because
Is
I
he
know
sending them back to you, or have you got like separation issues
no, he's sending
with
them
your
back to me. He's
rigs?
sending them back to me. Yeah, and I absolutely have separation issues. I'm yeah. No, I asked him to send them back. I was like, "Hey, listen, I'm like just keep the Octominer. I'm like throw those little GPUs in a box, send them back to me, please. I'm like throw some rises on them just to protect the PCB, but overall like look at this. That's 42 watts,
Yeah,
man. This thing runs at 42
yeah,
watts. Like that's so efficient. It's a crazy. I
yeah.
can run
And
this
I've,
off
I've
solar,
actually,
you
and I
know?
mean on my A2000 here that and all I've got is a normal shim plate on my A2000, right?
Oh, right. Yep.
So I haven't
Mhm.
done a shunt mod on it. It's just shimmed,
Yep.
and that on Casper as well is about the same sort of watts. So, and given that these, something like Dynex, Casper, I believe Radiant as well, the fact that they're all
Look at
sort of
this.
very similar watt rate,
It's only
given
144 watts, dude.
yeah,
On a friggin'
it's crazy.
4090. Like
Yeah,
that's insanity.
yeah. I think you can even get even more efficient
Oh
than
yeah,
that if you really wanted to go and spend the time to really tweak it.
for sure. For sure. So I mean overall guys, it's
I mean,
a
if I
hard
switch my screen, I've actually got
yeah, show me.
Mad Electron's Dynex rig on at the moment. It was
Again, this
nice
isn't anything
enough
bad, people.
to.
Don't freak out over that. I'm showing your screen right now, Yeti, so don't
That's all
show
right.
anything you shouldn't. But
No, no, no.
that is
I've got to switch
more
my
or
screen.
less normal things you see. That was from scanning the wallet. Nothing came up really malicious. It just shows 41 like I guess they're red flags like just to look at, but Yeti's ripped through, numerous things with viruses and sees that there's really nothing malicious there. It's just normal
No,
software being flagged because of mining stuff, right? Like, how it says like, Windows, like this could be a virus. You want to proceed and you click, yeah, okay, run the miner. Like that's pretty much all that thing's ripping apart and showing.
yeah,
Um, would shunt mods on GPUs help? Ball Life Gamer, possibly. I mean, the shunt mod worked on my
not on
A2000s,
40
but I
series.
wouldn't mess with that to be
Not on
honest.
40 series. They're not. They're
Yeah.
not power limited. They're voltage limited, which is
Okay.
slightly different. So they'll actually hit a peak before they hit all the power thresholds. and then you're probably getting to the realms of thermal thresholds.
Yeah, no, that's
So,
a good point. Yeah, so like the A2000s, they when I shunt modded them, they actually, I mean, they work fine, but yeah, they pull more power than they're intended to pull. So like it's, you know, you're risking causing something to melt, break, or just whatever.
you're
You know what I
basically
mean?
putting
Like
them in a state of
it's
overload,
yeah,
basically.
it's a risk. You know, it's a big
Yeah.
risk that you probably don't want to take, and you don't want to push things too far. But I mean, I wouldn't be. Yeah, soldering those things on, man. I did my 12 A2000s myself. As the last cards I'm gonna do, unless something like the A2000 is that simple and easy. I'm not messing with any type of you know, for the win 3 cards or anything along those lines, though. I don't want to deal
Oh
with
no.
that.
Oh god, no.
All right, let's see, Yeti. What do you got going on here?
This is Mad Electron's Dynex rig that he's currently running. So this
Okay.
is his 30 series cards.
Oh, nice.
And you can see they're very efficient for a 3070 and 3070 Ti. I'm
Gotcha.
quite pleasantly surprised that it can get that efficient, given that it's pretty much all core. So,
Yeah.
Hilo Crypto's just asked a question actually.
Yeah.
They say, so should I install the core wallet and move my coins from the web wallet?
Yes. I would.
Hilo
Right?
Crypto, Dynex themselves have basically said not to use the web wallet anymore. They're effectively discontinuing it, I think. They don't even list it on their website anymore. So to me, if they're gonna make it not available anymore, I would highly recommend getting your coins to a wallet where you can actually access them.
Right. All track mining said flux is not just for copper pipe. You must have been here when I was shunt modding because I didn't use any flux. It worked though. Hey, it worked. I don't know how the hell it worked, but I went back and used flux on a couple of them.
I can promise you hours and hours of
God.
me getting traumatized watching Mr.
Bro,
Chump Change.
I can't explain how bad my hand was shaking. I was live doing the first one I ever did, and
I
it worked.
remember.
Oh my god.
I actually remember.
I was so scared, man. You don't even know. That was like, there's no pressure like being live and trying to do something I've never done before that could basically ruin this $500 card that, you know what I mean, was like top of the line at the moment of me doing it. It was just terrifying.
Oh, they weren't cheap when you were doing that either.
Yeah, they would cost like $1,000 if you wanted. It was insane.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so Mad Electron's rig, I mean, Dynex overall looks super efficient. I mean, the yield on it, I assume, is pretty good. I wonder what he gets per day. I don't know if he's here. What do you get off this rig per day, Mr. Mad Electron? Hopefully he is here. Let's see. All right, do you guys have any other last questions, I guess, for Mr. Yeti? We've been going for almost an hour at this point, and yeah, we'll just do a little Q&A and hang out with you guys and see if you got anything to say. Love soldering. It's part of my everyday job, said 3 Foxco. Perfect. 1 second, let me check. Some Mad Electron. All right, cool. Thank you. Real quick. So PsychNet said, in order to get recovery phrases on your wallet, since the GUI wallet doesn't provide, then you can use the CLI wallet to create a new address and get the phrase. Does that make sense to you, Yeti?
When I loaded up the Dynex wallet, there was no option to restore from a seed phrase at all. Yeah, not quite the. Sorry, I've just seen the next question that's coming.
Oh.
From Chris Hanley.
Thanks,
he
Mr.
says
Hawk.
Man United or Man City?
Yeti's your man for AMD overclocking.
I'm an Arsenal
Nobody
fan.
better.
Mr. Hawk donated $4.99. Thank you so much for the $4.99 super chat. Don't donate, man. Killing me. He says Yeti is our man, or your man for AMD overclocking. Nobody better. With explanation points. Yes, Yeti is amazing at AMD cards. He is. Well, who was doing? So was it? It was you and somebody else. Somebody else was doing the NVIDIA cards, and you were doing AMD always. Who was?
Rondi.
Was it Rondi? All right, yeah.
Yep.
Well, Rondi's just good at everything now, so.
That was on Overclock Wednesdays, right?
That was when we first started, right? That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's when we did it. We got to bring that back, too.
Although,
That'd be neat.
what's really weird is that I'm actually currently 50-50 straight down the middle on my farm now.
Oh, nice. Nice. Hell yeah.
Which is kind of unusual for me, given that, you know, for a long time I was only AMD. I had 90 something Vega 56 cards. It's how me and Mad Electron
Right.
actually first met, was that I needed some help with them.
Right. Crazy.
So,
It's crazy how long all of us have been together over here at Misfit Mining. It's nuts. Absolutely nuts. All right, let me see. So let's yeah, high-low crypto. So definitely do that. Make sure you're educating yourself there. You know, get that downloaded. As you can see, I mean, Yeti says it's safe, then I will vouch for him and say that it's most likely going to be safe for you to download. So if you're gonna do it, I'd do it right now. Use the same one. Do you actually, Yeti, do you have the link for the GitHub? And we could just throw that in the live chat. Yeah, just throw like, so people don't download the wrong thing, right? Just throw it in the live chat. And what I'll do is I will put it in the description as well, so you guys have the proper download from GitHub, right? 9 to 10 Dynex a day with that rig. Awesome. Thank you, Matt Electron. Appreciate you. So that rig he had, what? It was, how many cards was it? Was it 12 or was it just 8?
That one was, I believe, was that his 8? That might have been his 8 rig. Oh no, yeah, that's his 8 card rig.
Okay. All right. So 8 cards, 9 to 10 Dynex a day. Perfect.
Yeah.
Thank you, Yeti. Sorry, you can do your thing.
Which actually is not that bad. Which is not that bad at all. Given that, you know. So
how much Dynex? What, 25 cents right now? Let me see. I think it's 25 cents. Let's go to CoinGecko actually and look. Let me see. Oh, all right. Nope, that is not right.
Dynex.
Yeah, I hit yes by accident. All right, so it's 24 cents. Yeah, I was at a quarter earlier, but I mean, so you get 9 to 10. That was about $2.50 a day or so, right? Just about close to $2.50 a day. I mean, obviously not including electricity costs and all that, but I mean, overall, it's been going up. It's not like it, you know, it didn't start up here and just completely take a shit like most, you know, most coins. So that's obviously.
What you mean, like Iron Fish did? Started off at 100, and what's it at now? Like $4.
Yeah, I don't even think it's on.
It literally went off the deep end, quite literally.
Oh, it is. Oh wait, hold on. There it is. I saw it right here. It is. Let's go check. Oh, it's at $4.92 now. It was literally 100. I saw it.
I think it opened up at 100, didn't it?
Oh, CoinGecko only grabbed it from the 24th of April. So yeah, when it first opened up on the exchange,
it was like literally parabolic. It was straight down.
We were live. It was $99. I saw it opened up at like $1.50, right? $99 I saw, and then it, by the end of my stream, like a half hour from me checking it, it was down to $50. And then by the time I DM Panda, go sell all your Iron Fish right now, he comments back, I don't have any Iron Fish. And then I was like, never mind. It's only at $20 anyways. Thank you, Mine Some 10. This is going to read this thing quick.
At Chump ChangeXt Mining and Crypto, 1/4 of this goes to Yeti, 1/4 to you, and half to YouTube. Thank you, guys.
Mine Some 10. Thank you so much for the super chat. He said quarter of this goes to Yeti. He said quarter of this goes to you and half of it goes to YouTube. Thanks, guys.
Not wrong, though.
Right. Appreciate $10 super chat.
YouTube.
Yeah. Unfortunately, YouTube takes half. But you know what? It's, again, I don't do this for the money. I think it's just, it's nice to help out when we can, right? I mean, that's why Yeti does it too. It's why he doesn't have a channel. He should have a channel because he's freaking smarter than most of us. But yeah, I mean, he does it because he likes to help you guys. I know. Well, you're freaking busy too. You don't have time for it, right? Yeah, Pepe's up 2,048%.
Really?
Dude, this Pepe coin is gross. Please don't. I don't even know.
Just don't.
You're going to lose everything. People are going to lose everything. I'm not even going to show it. All right. Do you guys have any last questions or anything you want to say to Yeti for this whole Dynex thing, just to see, you know, if you have any questions, it's probably a good time to ask and get it out of the way now.
Another question from Bot Life Gamer saying, So you think roughly 12 months left to mine before the coins run out? What if they do something similar to Casper where they're breaking up the rewards into smaller blocks, right? So
valid question.
The only downside to that is that actually Casper is still going to be, the block reward is just going to be split up into smaller blocks, right? It's still going to effectively produce the same number of rewards per day than they were before they were doing the smaller blocks. It's just by doing 32 blocks every second, not only does everyone get a fair shot at getting blocks themselves on solo, for example, it will also distribute out the workload evener. in theory, right? That's one of their things they alluded to in the white paper, was by giving 32 blocks a second, you're opening up the floodgates, as it were, for more work to be done on their network. So
Gotcha. All right, so we have Bass. I'm just gonna call you that. He says, why does the Dynex network hash rate graph keep growing up? He said the last few days have been bad news for Dynex, but more people mining, the question mark.
I'm pretty sure that comes down to profitability.
Yeah,
as profitability goes up, everyone switches over. You suddenly see a massive spike like this. We've seen it with Casper as well. When Iron Fish started, Casper's network took a tank for about, I don't know, 14 hours, and then it was back to where it was again.
Right.
So I would probably put that down to profitability and people chasing profits.
Like, look in here, right? Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with Yeti. So most people, right, that don't have time for YouTube or just into, you know, just mining in general or profitability, they're just going to come to a site like this and just be like, okay, like, this is the most profitable, bang, that's what I'm doing today. Like, I'm just going to swap my stuff and mine. So, I mean, negative or positive news typically is still, you know, good news for a coin. Unfortunately, it's kind of
in the industry. What's the old saying? There is no such thing as bad news, only
right.
news.
Right, more or less. That's pretty much how it goes. That's my opinion, anyways. DJ Pedo.
At the end of the day, if even at bad publicity, it's still going to drive people to your website or to your solution just to see how bad it truly is.
Right. DJ Pedo said, so Chump Change, do you think that price of Ironfish will go up again, considering we saw the possible arrival of FPGA? I honestly can't even comment on that because I don't know. I really have no idea. I'm not educated with Ironfish enough to know what the hell's going to happen. I mean, to be honest, though, nobody can really tell you anything about any coin if it's going to go up or down, right? Price-wise. The fact coins that come out super high. I mean, yeah, did you have any like reservations with coins like that? I mean, me, it's just I don't even invest into them. If I see a coin that starts up here and comes down to here immediately after opening, I don't even bother with. That's just my
I mean, normally there's very few times where I've been on a blockchain at you know, block number 1, because usually by the time it gets listed or even listed in you know, mining pool stream and stuff, it's like block 1,000 before they're listed, right? So very rarely do you ever get the chance to be on that. And I thought, right, oh well, seeing as I'm on block 1, even Mad Electron said the same, right? We're on block 1. We should have the best chance right now of solo mining and hitting some blocks. But there was so much hash rate on the network that it didn't make sense. You were just burning power for the fun of it.
That's so crazy.
I worked out, even at my electric rate here, right? And I'm nearly 50 cents a kilowatt. You know this, right?
Yeah, it's gross.
And
so gross.
It would have had to start at $20 and stayed there for it to even be profitable for me. And it went from 99 down to like 50, down to like 14, and now it's down at like 4. So, right. I mean, I'm glad I didn't in the end with that, to be quite honest.
Oh, 100%. I totally agree. Looking at just pulling up the Ironfish thing here. Let me see. There we go. This petahash over here at Hero Miners, when it first opened up, was like 7. It's at 2.5 right now, but it was literally at like 7 petahash or something crazy.
I think Hero Miners at one point had like 95% of the network.
Yep, and they actually, I guess Ironfish said, if more miners don't switch off of Hero Miners to go to other pools, so they can't, you know, be susceptible to a 50% attack, they're going to consider changing the algorithm.
Yep.
Because it was substantial. Like, they could have absolutely taken down the network if something happened, right?
Definitely.
Damn, man, I think this is it. I think that's it. I don't know if you guys have any last questions, but Yeti, you're awesome. Thank you so much for doing all this with us.
Thanks for having me on.
It's definitely a good thing.
I always enjoy doing this. You know that.
Yeah, no, for sure. You know what? We'll get together. We'll try to do a VM video if you're interested in that. That'd be awesome for these guys. And then on
maybe
top of that,
Mad Electron on, because he could do the. I'm not as familiar as he is with Unraid. That's one of the few that I don't really mess around with much. Although I am setting up a server with Unraid on, so I'm sure Mad Electron's going to get bugged by me for a while. But, you know, it might be worth doing because obviously I do ESXi and Proxmox and he does Unraid. So
Right.
that's 3 of the big ones right there covered.
Yeah, that'd be cool as hell. Real quick, Alexander, thank you so much for the 999 super chat. He said, "Hey guys, just got here. Do you know if Dynex still has CPU issues? Friendly with Octominers?" The question mark.
So, if I remember rightly, Mad Electron talked about this to me a few weeks back. That to get the full hash rate with the Octominers, you need a AES enabled chip to get the full benefit.
Okay, SiteNet Crypt. That's how you say that. SciNet Crypt. Sorry, I just butchered that. He said no, it doesn't. No CPU issues anymore. Said Chadwick's Racing. Okay, awesome, cool. Yeah, I wasn't sure, to be honest.
Mad Electron swapped out all of our CPUs on our Octominers recently for AES enabled ones to help with the load averages on while running Dynex.
Oh wow!
Because it was causing the loads to go sky high.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
We think that they're obviously offloading something to the CPU, which is probably just some sort of verification check, right? Just check some.
Right.
But it's the first time I've ever come across any sort of mining that requires a specific type of CPU, other than ones with massive, clocks.
Well, now that I have a question. I want to ask you if you know anything about it. So, like, I heard in DJ's video. By the way, if you guys didn't see DJ Mind's interview with Sumi, right? I think that's his name. How you say it? I don't know. Anyways, go check out that interview. It was amazing. This thing where you use 5% of the GPU and the other 95% or whatever goes to, like, it's typically wasted and they're utilizing it somehow. Like, how do you know how to explain that in like a normal person language? Is there an easy way?
So I mean, we've got something similar at my job, right? So at my job, we've got a piece of software that does large scale digital signage, right?
Yeah.
So for anyone who doesn't know what that is effectively what Chump's got sat in the background of his room. There is a big screen that's running a piece of content in a loop, basically.
Yeah.
So with that in mind, we run some heavy GPU processing stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quite extensively. When we first started up, we could really get it to peak at 50% loads. But now with more and more refinement and me understanding a bit more how drivers work, and especially NVIDIA drivers, given that, I've had a bit of an experience with NVIDIA drivers recently, came in handy. But, you can get performance benefits out of it. And they're probably right that what they saw was that their system just wasn't efficient enough, right? So they decided that that they would re-look into this and see how they could offload work jobs effectively to it. And Mad Electrons just piped up and said to me that the CPU offloading now is back to the GPU side. So you don't actually need the AES enabled CPUs by the looks of it now. But
he did just say in the
for a
chat,
while, apparently there was a benefit to actually running them. So
he said in the chat also, anyone who has an older Octominer X8s, he said, can get an i3 4130 CPU for $10 on eBay for easy upgrade.
They're cheap. They're ridiculously cheap. I think he bought my i3 4130 for like, I don't know, $8. Something like that.
Wow, that's really cheap.
Yeah, it was cheap.
That's awesome. Matt Electron, put a link to a referral for your Amazon store or whatever, and I'll put a link to that CPU in the description. If you want to just throw it in the live chat too so people can use it, feel free. All right. I think it's time to get out of here. You guys are all awesome. Yep. Yeti, you're freaking amazing. Thank you so much for everything you do for the community and keeping us safe and all that. And yeah, that's it. Appreciate you, buddy. I'll catch you soon. I'm going to get you out of here, all right?
Yep, no worries.
All right, buddy. See ya.
Take care.
All right, guys. You're all amazing. I appreciate each and every single one of you guys for hanging out with us today. Hopefully this cleared up some questions. Again, the Dynex thing, neither for nor against it. I just wanted to make sure it was safe for all of us. That's pretty much it. I needed to make sure it was safe for myself because I do want to get a bag of it. So that's pretty much it. But if you guys have any further questions, leave it down in the comments below or whatever. Reach out in Discord and we'll try to do our best. And I will make a spreadsheet, hopefully with Mr. Yeti, to get the coins that he's actually already ripped apart the wallets to make sure they're all safe, because that is a really good idea that the wife brought up. And also we'll try to do a VM little video for you guys to teach you how to do that. So that'd be awesome. All right, guys, Power Minds Crypto. I think he's going live. If he is, I'll send people over there. But if not, hopefully you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Peace out.